How to solve conflicts, issues, and challenges in your company. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and I want to welcome you to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. If this is your first time listening to the show, I have a special gift for you. Head on over to nextlevelwholesaling.com, and there is a awesome tool that I developed really to help myself, right? But once I started using it and getting better every single month after month after month, I started doing more deals. I said, I've got to get this tool out to my listeners. Go there and download the special assessment. It's called the Next Level Wholesaling Assessment. So go to nextlevelwholesaling.com. And what this tool is going to do for you, you're going to ask you some simple questions, and it's going to spit out a score in the 4 areas of your business. That's marketing, acquisition, disposition, and accounting. What's accounting? How much money you're making, how much money you're putting in the bank, because guess what? That's the most important part about business, okay? At least that's what I think, okay? So, of course, we want to help people, but if we're not making money, you can't help people, right? Can't bring on team members, can't enjoy the things, and I'm telling you what, you got to have a big bottom line. Hopefully, that's why you're here. So go to nextlevelwholesaling.com, take the assessment, and let me know what your score is, by the way. I am dying to know. We've got some people with great scores. We got some people who had some really, really low scores, but man, they turned them around quickly. So love to hear what your scores are. Hit me at Todd Toback on Instagram, and you could tell me what you learned about yourself. Love to hear from you. So again, you can hit me at support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com or hit me at Instagram at Todd Toback. Let me know what you learned about yourself after taking the assessment. So today's episode, we're going to talk about how to really start moving your company forward. Now, if you are first starting out and just trying to get your first deal, hey, I get it. I would listen to today's show because you're really going to start to learn and become the person necessary to start to run a real business. If you are already doing deals and you're trying to grow, this is the episode for you. This is the down and dirty, yet boring stuff that if you do it, I'm telling you what, you're going to it's going to make you rich. The boring stuff makes you rich. Now, I don't think it's boring anymore. I love this stuff because I love seeing the needle move every day. I love seeing our deal size go up. I love tackling challenges. I love working with people. I love seeing people grow. I love seeing people engaged. You know why? Because people, they grow the business. And watching them grow is so fulfilling. And when you watch them grow, they will make you so much money, your head will spin. And so will they. All right? So this is when business gets really, really, really fun. So with that, with the yin comes the yang. You're going to start to bring up people, you start to bring people, and now you're going to see challenges and complexities and problems, right? Ever feel like you're just running and you're just going nowhere and the same problems just keep reappearing and you're just redecisioning everything, right? You guys decide something and then it happens again. Or maybe there's a problem and it's never really addressed. You talk about it, but that really core issue is not really getting dug out. Well, today, that's what we're going to talk about, right? How to solve real conflicts, real issues, and real challenges in your business so that you can make money, okay, and shoot off like a NASCAR race car, okay, like a black stallion heading out of that gate. So I talk a lot about our weekly meetings here, and it's a date that I have with my company. It is sacred every single week from 10:30 to 12. For me, Pacific time, right? For our East Coast members, it's later. I don't care what time it is, but you got to have that meeting. It's got an agenda, and it has a agenda, and it's got a outline that we have every single week. We start on time and we end on time. And one of the things that we talk about is we have an issues list, and I learned this from the book Traction, also Scaling Up, where we write down all of our problems, challenges, and opportunities. Okay, very, very important. Now, before this meeting, this is really important. At the beginning of this meeting, we talk about, the scorecard of the business, and we talk about some to-dos and our big priorities, and we've done all that. But we don't talk about any problems or challenges. We don't get off. And we say, you know what? We're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to drop this to our challenges and opportunities list. Okay, we're going to drop that. So when people try to bring some of this big stuff up during the week or during a meeting, and we're not ready for it, we say no. Now that may seem counterintuitive. Okay, but by saving this, by saying no, you are saying this matters so much that I'm going to lock and load it at this particular time slot where we're all here, where we can all have our input, where my mind is clear, I'm not distracted, and we could give this the love and attention it deserves so that we can either get this project launched, or we could solve this problem, or we could get rid of this conflict. So what you're doing is that you're extracting the problem and putting it in a space where now you can all attack it and get hyper-focused and get it done. If you feel like you've got a bunch of open projects, if you feel like you're going nowhere, if you feel like you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, this is the episode for you. So how do we handle this issues and opportunities and conflicts, right? Is that we make a list of all these things during the week. And then right before we start, we have our time slot, right? That 9:30 to 12, I could tell you that right when we hit that 11 to 12, we have about an hour to get through these. Now, I can tell you what, you are not going to get through all of your issues and conflicts and problems. It's not going to happen, okay? Let it go. Not gonna happen in an hour. I promise you. And guess what? As soon as you solve all these, a whole bunch are going to reappear, right? A bigger problem is going to appear. Welcome to business. But guess what? Your competition sucks, okay? And because of that, man, you are going to handle these like an absolute rock star and make a ton of money. Okay, this is so easy if you implement some of these habits. So now that you've got about an hour to solve these, you rate these. Why do you rate them? Because you're not going to get through all of them. Simple as that, right? So we have to prioritize and execute. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chances are you're only going to get through 3 or 4. And that's okay because you got through the most important 3 or 4. If you only get one done, that is okay. That is okay. Do not move on. Don't solve a problem 90%. Don't solve it 80% because a problem solved 90 or 95% is a problem that's going to reappear. Right? You're not attacking that core issue and it's not solved at all. And now you've wasted everybody's time in this meeting and the next meeting and the next meeting and the next meeting, and you are running around like an amateur with your head cut off. And this is not you. This is not you. One of the things that I tell my private clients, and now I actually am partnering with my private clients, and I'm really picky about that in certain markets across the country where actually I work with them as a partner in their business, is I tell them, solve a problem once, okay? Once. And how do you do that? Well, I've got a bunch of rules here. Okay, by the way, if you want to know more about partnering with me, send an email to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, or you could actually go to nextlevelwholesaling.com and fill out an application for private one-on-one coaching. Okay, go to nextlevelwholesaling.com and just fill out an application for private coaching. So let's talk about how to solve these problems. Number one is get crystal clear what the real problem is. Get crystal clear on what the real problem is. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, I don't know, 5-6 months ago, we had a real slow month, right? We didn't lock up enough contracts. So everyone's saying, okay, we're not locking up enough contracts, right? The leads are no good. Right now, I can tell you that I've been in this business a long time, and when people say the leads are no good, that's hardly ever the problem, right? The problem is that usually there's some core issue that no one wants to talk about. So I ask everyone, I say, hey, is this the root issue? And one of our team members, Brett, he says, we're not doing enough sales training. And then I went back, I go, well, how much sales training have we done? This is like 5-6 months ago. And because of this, we had various team members go out on appointments or schedule errands, and they had missed a bunch of sales meetings over, it was like a 4-week period. And so the root issue was that I could see was that we had missed all these sales training, and the people who ironically were not closing had missed the most sales training meetings. So instead of saying, oh, okay, the leads suck, whatever, we had identified that. Now, we first had to get everyone on the same page. Hey, is this the core issue? Because the core issue is that we're not getting enough sales training, right? So we got everyone on the same page, right? And everyone agreed. And we looked at the data to match that. We looked up where their revenue was based on that. That was the discussion. So everyone got their input. So everybody who was in that meeting gave their input. They asked questions. Now, not everyone's going to agree all the time, but everyone gives their input and everyone listens. Then we solved it. Okay, so what was the solve? Okay, the solve was, I'm not going to make appointments during the sales training meetings anymore. I'm going to look at this time as sacred and make that happen. I'm also going to get back into the no limits selling system, right? And retrain myself. By the way, if you are interested in that, go to nolimitsalessystem.com. Okay, I'm going to reacquaint myself with that. Okay, and then I'm going to report back in 4 weeks and see if my sales are up. Now, the beauty of that is from that, okay, we're like, okay, we have to do. We want to hold someone accountable. So we said, okay, so XYZ acquisition specialist is going to re-review the no limit selling system in detail from front to back, and he's going to make sure to attend 8 sales meetings this month. So that was the to-do. Now, date comes around. Now we're a month past that to-do with the due date, and who is responsible pops up. Hey, 4 weeks ago, you promised that you were going to review the sales system, be at 8 sales meetings. Did you do this? Yes. Boom. Okay. Now, hopefully that person's going to report on sales and sales are up. Boom. And guess what? In this case, it was, right? And we solved that problem. Now, this is the thing where it goes back to rule number 2, though. And that's no elephants in the room. When you're a team and you want to get better, you've got to call out problems and challenges and things that are going to ruffle some feathers. Because whenever the organization is not working right, things are going to break, or someone, there's something that we don't want to talk about, or maybe we're scared of something and no one's doing something wrong, or maybe the owner's doing something wrong. By the way, that has happened to me many times. And I've built rapport and trust with my team that says, hey, you know what? Call anybody out, right? In a respectful way, right? But if we've got a real issue, we've got to identify that. That is very, very, very important. Okay. So everyone's going to get the core problem out. Now, it's very important. I'm going to talk about something. Don't get distracted with a new problem. So, for example, in this example, if I'm trying to solve a problem and a challenge or a conflict, everyone gets a chance to talk. But someone may say, hey, you know what? I noticed that, let's say our competition's doing X, Y, Z, right? And I think that we should be doing X, Y, Z. Well, okay, that may be important and that may be an opportunity that we want to talk about, right? But that's not pertinent to what we identified in this core issue. So let's take that problem, let's shelve it, put it on the issues here. So now we're going to re-rate that to go over a different time on this new marketing channel that you want to explore, which sounds great, but because it's so important, we're not going to talk about it right now. We have to get back to this original problem until it's solved. Now, solved means that it's either solved or we determine the next step to determine if that particular solve worked. Simple as that, right? Either it's solved or we determine the very next step to make sure that happens to see if that particular step has moved us in the right direction. So hopefully you see we are just really, really getting granular. Like the team is going to get squirrely. They're going to change the subject. Now over time, the team, they're going to start to get trained and they're going to understand. And they're going to understand how to focus. Very, very, very important. Okay, now, once you start doing these problems, you start assigning to-dos for the next week or a month or 3 weeks, right? At the beginning of the meeting, you have to-dos and everyone reviews their to-dos. Did you get them done or did you not get them done? And if you have all-stars in your team, they should say, yes, I completed that, right? Awesome. And if they don't, well, now you're starting to see a lack of accountability where people aren't going to get stuff done. And if someone's not willing to be accountable and not willing to change or not willing to do what they said they're going to do, well, then you probably are going to have to help them find a new home. Because I can tell you that if someone's not accountable, wrong team member. You're looking for people who are going to take ownership and be accountable. Very, very, very important. So I got some rules here. Hopefully this is going to help. Number 1, speak with truth and respect. So remember I said no elephants in the room? Well, you want to speak truth, right? If something needs to be said, or we're not getting something done, or we're not getting to that core problem, speak it. Speak it, right? But do it in a respectful way so that you're not going to alienate anyone or you're not going to insult anyone, that you can speak it. So for example, let's say the marketing person is there and the marketing's kind of erratic, right? I would say, listen, one of the things I wanted to bring up is that the marketing is not going out consistently every single week. Now, it may be hard. Let's just say let's say it's your spouse, right? Or let's say it's your virtual assistant and they're not getting out, right? Obviously, you're going to have to address that. But some people may not want to say that because the person who may or may not be responsible for, they can't take that heat. Okay, that's okay. But just say it's not going out. It's a fact. Number 2, listening is imperative. So everyone gets a chance to speak who's in that meeting and they can give an opinion. Does not mean that we're going to always take that person's opinion, although I find I get better ideas from my team than I get from myself, especially if they go ahead and execute that. Does not mean that everyone has to agree. Everyone gets their input, okay? But we come together with the solution and everyone says, yes, this is the direction that we're going, okay? Number 3, demand accountability and be accountable. Okay, just like I talked about before, is that when we go through these opportunities or challenges and we go through that, when you come up with solutions, a bunch of to-dos are going to go out. And you want to make certain people responsible so that you can follow up. Are they getting it done? You got to hold them accountable. Now, this is the kicker though. If you are still operating your business as one of the team members, you need to be accountable. You absolutely need to be accountable, right? You have to do what you say you are going to do. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. You just have to delegate and not take responsibility for that and make sure that that's getting done. Okay. I personally believe the less you do in the business, the better. But when you're first getting started, obviously you are probably sitting in some areas where you're acting as an employee of the company. So you've got to be accountable, right? You've got to lead by example. People are going to do what you do. They're not going to do what you say. Okay. Number 4 is no pretending. What is no pretending? Let's pretend like someone on your team has said that they're going to do something and they haven't gotten it done week after week after week after week after week, and it's not getting done. At some point, we're going to say, hey, you know what? This is not the solution. Jack has said that he's going to do this 4 times in a row. We haven't gotten it done. So I'm not going to pretend that this is the solution to the problem because Jack is not, from what I've seen, this is not working right now. Man, that's a hitting the problem between the eyes here. But you want to say that with respect, but don't pretend like a solution is going to work if you know it's not going to work. Number 5, demand critical thinking. Do not be the genius surrounded by a bunch of elves. Okay, you want to be the dumbest guy in the room, and you want to be surrounded by a bunch of geniuses. So how do you do that? Well, don't solve the team's problems. Let them talk. Let them critically think. Let them bring problems, but also bring solutions, right? Say, give me some solutions here. I don't want just problems. Let's come up with a solution. What do you think? Right? And then have them critically think. I always demand that the team spends 20 minutes before the meeting prepping. If you bring an issue, if you bring a challenge, if you do an opportunity, I want that. But do some homework before you come on. That brings me to my next one. It means data, not drama. So if you've got a problem or challenge or an idea, bring some numbers behind that, right? Hey guys, I want to try this new marketing channel. One of our local colleagues over here in another market told me about it, and they spent $10,000 and they made $100,000. I got the script. I got, the marketing channel. I've got the media guy. This is what we're going to do. I think we should try it. Boom. That's some data. If you're like, hey, why don't we try XYZ? Okay, well, why? Where? How? Why do you think that's a good idea, right? You want to really challenge your team to critically think and to come to the table with numbers. This is and ideas and samples and methods of execution, right? You got to demand this from your people so that you are not doing everything. You want to have scorecards to take out accountability, right? Every single week we go over all the scorecards in our business. How many calls, how many offers, how many appointments, how much revenue, how much money we spend on marketing. It's all there week after week after week after week after week. So if we have a problem, if you have a problem, you can spot it, right? So that all of a sudden we're not going to assign blame to a problem where the answer is right in front of us. Very, very important. And number 6, oh man, this is my favorite. My favorite, do not allow the reverse delegation. What's the reverse delegation? Reverse delegation is when you give a team member a project and because of a lack of leadership, because of a lack of accountability, because of a lack of you challenging them, on big projects, they reverse delegate that back to you. So they basically say, I'm stuck. Can you handle this? And you say, oh, okay, I'll just do it. No good. Okay, do not allow that, right? You want to re-challenge them, say, hey, you know what? I know you can do this project. I know you can finish it. What are the next 3 things that you need to do to get this done? Is there any support or resources that I can get you? But I need you to take on this project because you're a leader. I know you can do this, and I want you to step up and get out of your comfort zone, right? Do not let your team members throw things back on you. Challenge them, and they will grow, and they will love you for it, right? Or else you got the wrong person on your team. All right, so quick review. Number 1, get really crystal clear on what that real problem is, what the core problem is, okay? Get everyone to agree what that real problem is, even if it's uncomfortable, right? Listen to everybody's feedback. Don't talk over anyone, even if you don't get, even if you don't agree with it, right? Don't get distracted by new problems while you're solving that, right? Just write it down and attack that new problem at a separate time in the rating, 1 to 10, right? Remember, during these sessions, you may only hit 1, 2, 3 issues. That's okay, but you got the most important 1, 2, 3, okay? Follow up, assign to-dos, follow up the next week or month, whenever they're supposed to be, assign someone to make sure they're getting accomplished, holding people accountable. Some rules here for you. Speak with truth and respect. 2, listening is imperative, but does not mean that you have to agree. 3, take accountability and demand accountability. 4, no pretending, okay? Don't pretend something's not going to get done if it hasn't, right? Get a new solution. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Demand critical thinking from your team, right? Demand they bring solutions and data and challenge them to get stuff done. Don't allow reverse delegation, right? 5 and 6 really, really go together, right? Don't let them throw projects on you that they committed to do. Challenge them. Have scorecards and take out the subjectivity. And 8 is data, not drama. Have those numbers, and man, you're going to see yourself start to slay these problems, right? You go through this discipline of tackling problems this way, your business is going to get some serious momentum. Okay, you're going to start running around like what do they call it? Wile E. Coyote, the coyote from the cartoon. Remember how he'd run and he wouldn't go anywhere? That's how most business operates. This process, right, will get you going, right? You'll be like a horse out of the gate, and your business is going to grow. Okay, very important. If you are interested in checking out some of the private coaching, which may lead to a partnership with me in your market, check out nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com. You can go to /coaching, nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/coaching, or you can go to nextlevelwholesaling.com, fill out the assessment, and that'll also take you to the coaching page. So hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope your bank account explodes.